If you recall your Philippine history subject, you will remember that even before the coming of the Spanish colonizers, Islam was already well entrenched in southern Philippines. At hanggang ngayon kitang-kita natin, no, mas doon dominant yung Islam sa Bangsamoro, sa may Mindanao, sa southern part ng ating archipelago, where it continues to be culturally dominant and strong. Islam was said to have gained significant grounding in Sulu. Okay? Yan. As early as 13th century. However, it was in the arrival of Sayyid Abu Bakr of Arabia in the 15th century that led to a significant turn of events. He married Princess Paramisuli, okay, daughter of Raha Baginda. When his father-in-law died, Abu Bakr succeeded the throne and established the Sultanate of Sulu. Aside from introducing the holy text via the holy book of Quran, itong picture na nakikita nyo sa baba, and building a house of prayer, Abu Bakr was recognized for building a religious school, also known as madrasa. So madrasa is um, an Islamic school, okay, that facilitated the teaching of Arabic writing in the 16th century. So, as early as 16th century, no, meron ng lumalaganap na kumakalat na yung Islam sa southern part, no, ng ating archipelago. Natives from Zamboanga and Yakans from Basilan were converted to Islam, with teachers coming from Holo, Sulu, and other practitioners from nearby regions like Brunei. Okay, yung southern part ng Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Brunei, no, mga predominantly Islamic. Kaya yung southern part natin, predominantly Islamic din compared to the rest of the archipelago. So, mga Tausug, Maranaos, Maguindanaos, Yakan, Samal, Bajau, and some areas in Palawan, no, were influenced by Islam as early as 16th century. Okay. So that's how Islam came to the Philippine Islands before the coming of Spanish colonizers. Now, in the following slides, we will answer, no, the question, what are the main beliefs of Islam and how these beliefs influence the way art is made and interpreted, or how art is influenced by Islam. Filipino Muslims recognize that they belong to an ummah or a community of believers. Central to the Islamic faith is the doctrine of Tawhid, or unity with God. This belief emphasizes the impermanence of nature and the incomprehensible greatness of the divine being. In Islamic art, we can observe how artists are influenced by the notion of the Tawhid, or yung notion nila ng unity with God, considering the goal of negating materiality. We will find that the interior of mosques are covered with elaborate patterning in the form of reliefs to draw the attention away from the concrete object. In other words, away from human forms and nature, toward the contemplation of the divine. Okay. Unlike other religious traditions which make use of icons, like in Christianity, in Islam, divine unity is expressed through abstract forms and patterns that compel the believer to engage in mental concentration, especially when they pray. How Philippine Muslims organize space and architecture is also telling of their adherence to the Tawhid and other Islamic beliefs. For example, parts of the mosque like the mihrab, yung nakikita niyo sa picture na yan, that's a prayer niche, and the Qibla wall are oriented toward the west. May it be in Sultan Kudarat or in Quiapo, Manila, in order to fulfill the requirement that all Islamic buildings must be oriented toward Mecca. Mecca yung holy place no, sa Islam, where we find the Great Mosque of Mecca and its bulbous dome, which is a characteristic of Islamic architecture. Sa Mecca yan, makikita yung Kaaba. Okay? It's a black shrine believed to be built by Prophet Muhammad. While Islam continues to shape the art of Philippine Muslims, the influence of folk or non-Muslim and indigenous practices previously discussed persists as well. Although Islam rejects the direct copying of images in nature, it is apparent in the curvilinear and flowing forms of okil or okir that artists take inspiration from it nonetheless. An example is the luhul. Luhul or canopy ito. Yan, okay. It takes inspiration from the Tree of Life. Okay. So luhol or canopy which may feature motifs from the Tree of Life. The forms, however, are so repetitive, ulit-ulit, as you can see, and elaborate that they seem to distract us from the actual natural elements from which they were derived. So, yung Muslims, sa Islam kasi may paniniwala bawal yung mga Um, kaya usually mga geometric patterns 'no, walang mga icons, ayan. Kasi nga away from the material world 'no, para mas mag-concentrate yung communication with the divine kaya gano'n yung mga patterns 'no, na ginagamit sa, Islamic art 'no. So eto, siyempre hindi mawawala yung, indigenous influence, doon sa pagpasok 'no ng Islam sa Southern Philippines. So example nga itong luhul, 'di ba, or it's a canopy usually nila, dine-decorate siya sa mga walls, sa ceilings kapagka may mga, um, special occasions, 'yan. So nakita natin 'no, yung influence ng Islamization sa southern part of Mindanao at kung paano yung Islam as a religion greatly influenced, art 'no, in that, particular, part of the Philippines na hindi na Christianized. Okay, kasi they resisted, eh. So in our next discussion, we will discuss Spanish colonial period. So we will be answering questions like what kinds of art were developed during Spanish colonization. Siyempre, hindi na colonized ng Spain, no, yung Southern Mindanao. So, iba yung historical experience nila. And since iba yung historical experience nila, reflected yon doon sa art forms na meron sila hanggang sa kasalukuyan.